What's up, guys? This is Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys our Week 3 team builder, taking on Storm and the San Diego Sneasels. Storm has not had the start that I expected from his team, and he's got a fantastic matchup against us, and we've had quite the good start to the WPL, so I'm hoping to pull out another W. I'm not super confident in this one. It's a little bit of rushed prep just because we kind of only have like one day that we can realistically battle this entire week. And so it's super early on in the week that we're battling. And unfortunately, that means that my prep isn't going to be top tier. So I'm hoping that maybe we'll get a rematch down the line where I can prep a little bit more seriously. But yeah, so we're taking on Storm, and let's run through his team. He's got Tapu Koko Z user, Halucha, Donphan Z user, Mandibuzz Super Z user for, I guess, Z Tailwind is the only thing I can think of off the top of my head. Magmortar, Togedemaru, Mega Scizor, Keldeo, Superior, Mesprit, and Type Null. So lots of cool stuff there. Type Null's a weird mon. Same with Togedemaru. Both of them are kind of interesting, and it's super cool. You know, he got Tapu Koko Lucha, but it's not like your basic bitch Koko Lucha Mega Scizor team. So I like a lot of the aspects of this team, and I'll talk about that in a second when we get over to it. Priority options, he's got Donphan with the Ice Shard, Magmortar with Mach Punch, and Scizor with Bullet Punch are the relevant ones. Hazard setting in Donphan with rocks and Mesprit with rocks, so very limited on the actual hazard setting ability. Most likely going to be the Donphan. I would imagine, specifically because it's such a good check to a lot of the mons on my team. I think he's got to bring it for the Zapdos, otherwise Zapdos tears him apart. Removal options, Koko with Defog, Lucha with Defog, Donphan with Rapid Spin, Mandibuzz with Defog, Mega Scizor with Defog, and Superior with Defog. He's got a lot of removal options, so I'm not super concerned about getting hazards up against him. They aren't that good either. You know, they deal with the Magmortar and the Mandibuzz. They break a Sturdy on the Donphan. Maybe they pop a Sash on something like Togi or Sturdy on the Togi, but I don't know. It's not super important. And then 4 times weaknesses in Togedemaru to ground and Mega Scizor to fire. So I've got both of those covered on the team, and let's talk about what I'm expecting here. So Magmortar, Togedemaru are kind of the two that I'm not really anticipating to come. You know, Magmortar doesn't have a great matchup against my team, so I'm really not anticipating it to be there. Togedemaru is an interesting one because it's definitely a hard maybe, but I think he's got a lot of other better options to bring against me. Like, I think Koko, Lucha, Mega Scizor kind of has to come, all of them. You know, he doesn't have to bring Halucha. It's not fantastic against me, but I've definitely prepped for it well. Mega Scizor, I definitely think is one of his better brings this week. It's kind of one of his best ways to stop the Lycanroc Dusk from kind of just demolishing him. In fact, it's the main thing in my mind that's stopping Lycanroc Dusk from just destroying his team. That and the Donphan, so there's a couple things going on there. Mandibuzz, I think, is his best way to make sure that Reuniclus doesn't just flat out 6-0 him. I'm not bringing Reuniclus, but it could just 6-0 him if he doesn't bring Mandibuzz, because it's very hard for Reuniclus to deal with Mandibuzz when it's neutral to Focus Blast. And it's a very easy taunter for the Reuniclus, so I definitely think Taunt is coming either on the Koko or the Mandibuzz, maybe both. Could also come on the Keldeo. He's got a lot of taunters for Reuniclus there. Superior, I think, probably wants to come to break my double water, but he doesn't have to because Koko just absolutely obliterates my team as is. That's kind of one of the reasons I don't think Magmortar's coming, is because of the double water, and Lycanroc Dusk just easily destroys it with a Cell Rock. You know, Lycanroc Dusk is more of a threat on the bench so far, because 3 weeks in, we're not bringing it even once. Ugh, excuse me. Mega Scizor is definitely his best Beedrill check. So again, that's another reason why I think Scizor's going to come. I think Keldeo is probably coming. It kind of rips through my team with just Secret Sword plus Hydro Pump. So I'm anticipating the Keldeo to come. Type Null, I don't know if he's got the space for it. I'm not sure if he's got the space for it. I didn't really prep for it very well, because I'm just kind of not anticipating it to come. So, you know, if I lose big to Type Null, there's definitely a lot that I can look at here, especially if we play in playoffs way at the end of the season. That's assuming we both make playoffs, but if we play way at the end of the season in playoffs, then there's a lot more that I could look at with this matchup. Like I said, it's not the best prep that I've ever done in my life, and I wouldn't be surprised if I end up losing this game. Mesprit, again, I just don't know if he's got the space for it. It's the same sort of thing as Type Null. Because I'm really seeing he's got about 7 mons he kind of would want to bring. And in my mind, he's probably going to bring Coco, Lucha, Mandibuzz, Donphan, Mega Scizor, Keldeo, and then I think the other 5 stay on the bench. But I could be entirely wrong, and he brings Superior. I didn't prep well for Superior at all. I have a couple Leaf Storm switch-ins, but nothing that can handle it long term. And so that's sort of the idea there behind my roster, or what my picks, versus what I think he's going to bring. Pardon me. I know I was yawning in my battle against Joseph, but it is actually late when I'm filming this Teambuilder because I'm playing Storm tomorrow in the morning. So first up is Primarina. I'm bringing physically defensive Primarina, and I wanted to bring the standard sort of physically defensive Rest Talk Primarina that's been going around UU lately, but he's got electric terrain, so I can't really get a rest off easily, pretty much whatsoever. So instead I'm just bringing 4 attacks, but I'm physically defensive with HP Fire from the Mega Scizor, Scald, which I will just click absolutely freely against his team until I can't, which is pretty much never. And obviously this is my main Keldeo switch in based on the EV spread. I absolutely tank Secret Swords, especially Spec Secret Swords with a physically defensive set. And Primarina's natural Spadef bulk means that I can soak water hits for sure. This is definitely my best water resist for him. And so I'm going to anticipate sort of a Coco double every single time Keldeo's in. Keldeo threatens out things like the Registeel pretty well, and honestly, Keldeo kind of threatens a lot of the stuff on my team. If he's packing the Icy Wind for the Garchomp, then I always double into Primarina. Like, Primarina is my main switch in, and eventually he's going to pick up on that and make a stronger play. Moonblast is also pretty free. Essentially his Fairy Resists are Mega Scizor, Togedemaru, and Magmortar. Magmortar's not switching in on Primarina ever. And then I've got Ice Beam there for the Superior. That's the main job, is to hit Superior. Pardon me. So again, fully physically defensive. That's the whole reason that I'm running this, is to take on those big threats. I would not be mad if I burnt the Type Null either, especially because Type Null on a Coco team is kind of whack. Type Null definitely loves its Rest Sleep Talk sets, and it can't rest in electric terrain, so it's kind of anti-synergy there. Garchomp's next. Bringing a Yachi Berry set this week, and it's kind of a whack one, but I'm rolling with it. I've got the Yachi Berry there to deal with Coco, so I can eat a hit, and then I will be able to kill the Coco with Earthquake. This kind of revenge kills Coco, but I have nothing to switch into Coco. Like, literally at all. I have absolutely nothing to switch into Coco. I very much think that he's going to lead with Coco, so I'm going to lead with Garchomp. And that's sort of the plan there. Actually, I meant to get rid of Toxic. I had Toxic for Mandibuzz. Or was it Dragon Tail I wanted to get rid of? Actually, I think it was Toxic. I think it was Toxic. I need Rocks on the team, and I talked about that. Nope, I don't need to get rid of it because I have Rocks and Registeel. Whoops, my bad. So Earthquake's there for the Coco. That's realistically the only reason. I can take a hit from the Magmortar, Earthquake it. Togedemaru, it's pretty easy to Earthquake it. It's another reason I don't think Togedemaru is going to come. It doesn't deal with Garchomp well at all, even though it's definitely a good Zapdos counter. Zapdos doesn't benefit from the electric terrain, so I don't think it's going to be that big of a problem. And Zapdos doesn't have a fantastic matchup against him, although it's got a good offensive one rather than defensive this week. So Fire Blast is there on the Garchomp to 2-hit KO the Mega Scizor. I will 2-hit KO standard Spadef variant with this Fire Blast and the investment that I have. I know it's a minus nature being invested in, but Jolly is realistically just the best case scenario here because I don't want to lower either of my defenses, but I need the fire coverage to beat the Mega Scizor, and Fire Fang is not doing as much as Fire Blast is. I think. I didn't calc it, so I don't really care. But yeah, Toxic, again, is for the Mandibuzz mainly, although it can also work for the Donphan and the Superior. I don't know what else would want to switch in on this. Maybe Mesprit, but I've got Dragon Tail for phasing here, so just in case the Type Null wants to set up on me, I can Dragon Tail it out. I can Dragon Tail out the Superior if he's not going to two-shot me. I can Dragon Tail out the Keldeo if he's going to set up a Calm Mind in my face, potentially. I can Dragon Tail out a Rock Polish Donphan. Or I can Dragon Tail out a Hawlucha trying to set up in my face. I don't know. Realistically, Hawlucha is definitely a huge problem for this Garchomp. Excuse me. I'm definitely entirely sub-bait for the Hawlucha, but I felt that it was a little bit more important, for me to sort of be able to handle the Mega Scizor and have the Fire Blast there instead of running, Dragon Claw to break a Hawlucha sub. Dragon Claw doesn't have a good it's not hitting anything super effectively just because Storm he didn't draft a Dragon. So there's really no reason for me not to be running Dragon Stab unless I was trying to be an SD sweeper set. But he's got stuff that outspeed, like he's got 4 Mons that outspeed me, and I think that all 4 of them are going to come potentially. So there's really no point in trying to be an SD set unless I was SD Slack, which would be very flames and still wouldn't outspeed Hawlucha in a train. So what's the point? Registeel, this is my dedicated Hawlucha check in quotation marks. I'm Chopple counter, so if he's not behind a sub, I'm fine. And if he is behind a sub, I lose. And so that's kind of what I want to play around, is I'm going to put myself in a situation where Hawlucha hopefully can't set up on Garchomp, can't set up a sub on Garchomp, because as long as he's not behind a sub, Registeel will beat it in a 1v1. And I really hope that if I bring in Registeel on the Hawlucha, he doesn't click sub. That's pretty much all there is to it. Counter should kill it through the Tropical Berry there. And I've got Protect for potential high jump kick scouting, although it's definitely sketchy as hell. This is potentially a decent Superior switch in if I don't see Hawlucha come at all. It's definitely a very good Superior switch in if I don't see Hawlucha come at all, because I've got Seismic Toss there. I was thinking about other moves that I would put on here, like maybe Earthquake to beat the Koko, but I ended up rolling with the Seismic Toss just in case I get in a 1v1 with the Superior. I think it's a little bit more handy if I can break a Serp sub and sort of work my way from there. I just sort of split the defenses here. I don't need a ton of HP. I don't need a ton of physical defense. In fact, entirely specially defensive. Registeel can live a +2 Drain Punch with the Chocolate Berry from the Hawlucha. So that's sort of where I'm thinking there. Rocks are really not that important, like I said before, but it's sort of just because he's got all the removal options he does, but it sort of forces him to click Defog, and I still like having that option just to be able to force him to at least click the move that is going to get rid of the hazards. So that's kind of the story behind the Registeel stat. There's not really much to it there. It's very passive Mon, it's kind of just set up fodder for Mons like Calm and Koko, but if you're running Seismic Toss, it's a little bit less passive. Beedrill's coming in next. Mega B's got a pretty okay matchup. It's definitely my best check to the Superior offensively, and it can eat Leaf Storms. Luckily, I think I can eat at least 2, even a boosted Leaf Storm I can eat, but I think it's more likely he's going to Leaf Storm into HP Fire, which would kill me. But I will outspeed, and U-Turn will kill him. It's an offensive answer to the Mesprit, although if Mesprit comes, it might be Scarf to try and outspeed me. Technically, Scarf Mesprit shouldn't outspeed me, but with my speed investment, it will, just because I'm not running enough speed to outspeed Scarf Mesprit. If there's a rematch, I will most certainly run enough speed to outspeed Scarf Mesprit, because there's really no reason not to at that stage. I can offensively check Koko with Poison Jab too, so it's nice having something faster than Koko that can offensively check it and kill it. I get a big hit off on things like Mons like the Keldeo there. I'm actually going to swap out Drill Run for Knockoff, just so that I have a way to get rid of the Violite on the type Null. Drill Run it's not super viable. Realistically, it was there for the Togedemaru mainly, but since I don't think Togedemaru is coming, and I have Earthquake on Garchomp, I think it's probably okay that I'm not rolling that way. Yeah, so that's Mega B. Enough speed on here for the Koko. Like I didn't directly mention it, I sort of indirectly mentioned it, but enough speed on there for the Koko. Max speed with a lot of HP investment, which I like. Love me some Mega B. Unfortunately, I cannot run Adamant. I'm about 20 EVs being away from being able to run Adamant against his team, just because Koko hits that speed tier that forces me to Jolly. Zapdos, I think, has a really solid offensive matchup here, so I'm bringing a really speedy Zapdos like week 1, but I'm running E-Belt. E-Belt Heat Wave will OHKO any Spidef variant of Mega Scizor. E-Belt Heat Wave is definitely a fantastic way to hit the the Superior. I've got HP Ice on there for the Donphan, and then I've got Thunderbolt there just as really good neutral hit. So E-Belt Heat Wave should also be able to deal with the Togedemaru. If he wants to switch in Togedemaru on my Thunderbolt for whatever reason, get his Lightning Rod boost, I can Heat Wave it and do a shitload of damage. Zapdos has an amazing offensive matchup here in my mind. It's slower than Keldeo, unfortunately. It's slower than Hawlucha. Hawlucha is going to have to pack Stone Edge to be able to beat this Zapdos. So he's already wasting a move slot, and that's sort of why I'm kind of iffy on Hawlucha. Mainly is because of Zapdos. He's going to need His Fighting Stab, he's going to want Flying Stab because at +2 Fighting Stab isn't going to kill Primarina, so he's going to want Acro. And he's going to need Stone Edge to be able to beat the Zapdos. Otherwise, he can get to +2 all he wants. Zapdos comes in and it kills it with T-Bolt. So there's sort of a lot of thought process that goes into that thinking. Actually, yeah, he would need SD. I don't think he has room for sub. I really think he needs SD, Stone Edge, Acro, Drain Punch / High Jump Kick, and that's his best way to beat my team with Hawlucha. And so yeah, if he doesn't have sub, I'm fine, and I really don't think he's got room for the sub. He either doesn't have room for sub or doesn't have room for SD, and if he's a non-SD variant of Hawlucha, he's a lot less of a threat because that mon is basically an unmon without SD. So that was my thoughts with Zapdos. Oh, I've got U-turn on there over the Roost, just to sort of pivot out. So I'm actually like kind of fodder for a lot of stuff because I can't Roost on stuff, but I figured U-turn was a little bit more useful. And now that I'm looking at it, it's not really that useful. I'd much rather have Roost on the set than U-turn. Nice live editing of the team, but again, I sort of threw this together really quickly, so editing as we go as I talk through my thought process. Zapdos outspeeds Togedemaru, and chews hits from Hawlucha despite all of that. And obviously, I don't really need to invest specially because 125 base special attack is already crazy, plus the expert belt. And yeah, so if I'm put in a position where Zapdos can do a lot of work, then hopefully it can do a lot of work. I don't know. Mimikyu is the last mon, and I thought about making it just a flat-out red card sweeper, or like a red card way to stop the Hawlucha. But again, I think I've got better checks to Hawlucha than I had imagined originally. So I'm ending up going with a Mimikyu MZ set, and I'm kind of expecting to be able to deal with Mega Scizor with other mons for this Mimikyu set to work. Mimikyu MZ Player Off is kind of a massive nuke to the Mandibuzz, and that's the main reason I've got it there, just because I think Mandibuzz is kind of an okay check to the Mimikyu. I've got Drain Punch there, so at +2 I can deal with the type Null a little bit better, and then Shadow Sneak picks off a lot of his faster mons than me at +2, or even at +4 if I can get up to +4 after my Disguise breaks. I can definitely be able to outrun some of his faster mons, and Shadow Sneak will go before Mega Scizor's Bullet Punch because of the speed investment that I have, and Mega Scizor can't run Scarf. So if I can get to +4, then +4 Shadow Sneak might be doing some decent damage to Mega Scizor. Kind of sucks that I have to run Jolly this week, but I'm speed tying Togedemaru with this. Togedemaru is the only other base 96 mon in the game, and I decided I'd rather speed tie it and try and get off of Drain Punch at +2 potentially. As long as he doesn't click Nuzzle, I'm probably okay. Yeah, so Mimikyu is just kind of a late game cleaner, sort of filling the role that it did in week 1, but maybe a little bit less effective than it was in week 1, just because of the Mega Scizor sitting there. Everything else kind of gets bopped by Mimikyu potentially, and yeah, +2 Shadow Sneak should be able to deal with the Hawlucha. Although he is getting a defense boost, +1 Shadow Sneak is doing like 40% or something along those lines. So there's a world where Mimikyu can definitely put in all the work. Again, you'll notice I definitely did not prep pretty much at all for the Mag Mortar. Like a Specs Mag Mortar can kind of run my fade here. HP Ice Thunderbolt Flamethrower, that's pretty much all he needs to sort of like body my team. I know what else he would want there, maybe Focus Blast for whatever reason, to hit the Lycanroc Dusk potentially, but Specs Flamethrower should do enough for that. Yeah, so I'm a little bit worried about, the Magmora and the Togedemaru, although I don't think they're coming. I still prep for them. I'm definitely scared of Koko. I've got nothing for Koko, and let's run through what I'm not bringing so I can talk about why I have nothing. So Lycanroc Dusk, again, I think it was a massive threat that's sitting on the bench here. Accelerock kind of picks off the Magmortar threat and the Hawlucha threat, to a degree, at the very least. I'd have to run like a Fire Fang Babiri Berry set in my mind to make it worthwhile this game, to sort of be able to pseudo check the Mega Scizor, or a Fiery MZ set and predict switching in. But again, I think if I brought it, I think Donphan or Keldeo would switch in pretty much every single time. Just didn't really have the matchup, despite how hard it hits. Dugong just did not have a matchup against the Koko team. I can't like Whirlpool trap anything on his team realistically, and I'm slower than his Taunters, so there's no point in bringing Dugong this week. It's just setup fodder. It's the Leaf Storm fodder for Serp. Excuse me. Reuniclus could have been okay. Even potentially like a red card Reuniclus for the Hawlucha would have been alright. Reuniclus doesn't eat the hits from Keldeo that I need it to, and it gets shut down. I talked about the Taunters on his team. It gets shut down by the Taunters. Beware, it gets blown back by his special threats. But doesn't have a matchup this week. You know, it looks okay on paper because it can kind of handle Donphan 1v1, but besides that, it just doesn't have the matchup, man. And then Lurantis, I definitely thought about Lurantis as sort of a better Keldeo check and maybe a pseudo Coco check, although Coco kind of just U-turns on Lurantis every single time. It really struggles to beat a lot of his team. You know, Mega Scissor is faster than it, so it kind of has to get up a superpower boost before Mega Scissor comes in to click U-turn or Bug Bite or whatever. Mandibuzz kind of just shuts down any set that I would want to run because it can just tank hits and Brave Murphy. Hawlucha just gets to sub on it for free or SD on it for free because both of the boosting moves, Superpower and Leaf Storm, are resisted by Hawlucha. Magmortar outspeeds it and absolutely obliterates it, no-KOs it. So the main reason you'd want to bring Lurantis this week if you're me is to sort of be able to check the Donphan, and I cannot say that I'm checking Donphan well in any regard, but yeah, I'm not checking Donphan, and so I'm doing that very intentionally because I think Coco is much bigger of a threat, and I think that he's going to have to move Donphan in a way where it's going to be physically defensive for the Garchomp and the Lycanroc Dusk. And so I'm fully intentionally not prepping for offensive Donphan because I don't think it comes. So that's the team. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully the battle is good, and hopefully I don't absolutely get destroyed. And I will catch you guys for the match.